All right, welcome back to Pigskin Politics, year in review. Week 17's over, and it's finally time for playoffs. God, last week was fun, huh?
Dude, this year went by so fast.
Yeah, I mean, if you were really enjoying it. I only enjoyed a couple weeks. Like this last one. This last week was a good week.
Because you guys beat the Pats.
Dude, yeah, we did. But that does play into what we're going to talk about. Playoff predictions. So now, everything's played out. Playoffs are set.
Wild card weekend predictions specifically.
Yes, of course. I mean,
we're not gonna be like this. Dude is big.
Start of the year, I picked the Saints and the Chiefs. But obviously, if someone loses next week or this week, I'm gonna throw that out the window. I'm not gonna be that reckless to try and predict who goes all the way from wild card weekend. No.
I mean, you do it from the beginning of the season, though.
Yeah, but
for shits and giggles.
Yeah, it's more like, I can still be right, but it's more for fun. But this, we're looking at it practically. Like, who do we actually think is the best chance to win these games? And there's some good frickin' matchups.
There's some really good games this week. Holy shit.
I'm really excited. So,
going off, just that Tennessee-New England game. Is this finally when New England just kind of fizzles out?
It's great.
It's just, Thanos just snaps his fingers.
I've looked up, of course, I've just been nothing but YouTube checking out people talking about that upset last week. And I've just been looking into a lot of stats. And no one wants to say it. I'll definitively say it. Dynasty's over, people. New England's done. Done. They can win this week, and they're still dead. That's it. America wins. We're done with the Patriots.
This year, the Patriots
it's done.
The Pats don't have a dynamic enough offense to make a Super Bowl.
They don't have a dynamic enough team.
No, their defense is okay, but their offense isn't good enough to do anything.
Here's the thing that I look at. Here's the thing I look at with New England, right? No one wants to count them out. New England on paper is exactly like the Buffalo Bills right now. Really good defense, not a great offense. It'll perform. It'll do what you need. But would you pick the Bills in a game against most of the playoff teams right now?
Not most of them, but a handful of them, I'd say. I think they could win games.
Exactly. And now the Patriots have that extra game, and they need to rattle off a streak of 4 to win it all.
They're a good 5 seed, I'd say. Anyway, the stats. Tennessee has the 21st best defense, whereas New England has the best defense.
Yes.
And New England has the best defense. I'd say that's in part to their easy schedule for like the first 9 straight weeks.
That's yards per game, correct?
Yards per game.
Okay.
This is NFL.com stats, and it's just yards per game. Tennessee, I thought their defense was better than 21. I really did.
I'll give a little bit of a caveat to them because, they play the Texans twice a year. They played the Chiefs this year. They've had they played the Buccaneers. But name one of those offenses that the Patriots also faced. Just the Chiefs, but they lost.
I know. The Patriots, they have a good defense, but I think that's in spite of playing the Jets, the Dolphins, the Bills, your division.
Yeah, like
despite losing to the Dolphins.
Statistically, the Patriots had the number 6 overall rushing defense. But within that division is the worst rushing offense in the league, and they played them twice. They couldn't even beat them once.
There's the 6-10 Browns, the Bengals, the Steelers.
A very, very soft schedule.
And it was a poor AFC North besides the Ravens, and it was a poor AFC East besides the Bills, but their offense isn't anything.
Honestly, at this point, was it that poor of an AFC East? You just lost at home. Home field advantage might not even matter anymore. That's the big thing. But let's talk about some real stuff. So, New England has not had to play in a wild card game this decade.
10
or
years.
Last decade. Happy New Year. This is new for them, and the last time they did, they got fleeced by Baltimore, 33-14 in New England. And I think this is a sign, really. New England really relies on taking 2 weeks to plan for their playoff opponents.
Sure.
And Tennessee Titans, I feel, are actually the hottest team in the playoffs right now. As far as, if you could look at a curvature, like on a graph, all the teams are like a straight line. Mm-hmm. The Titans are more like a really low and then hard spike upward.
I'd say if there
that sense, yes.
If there was a dark horse team, I think Tennessee is a dark. I don't think they'll get to the Super Bowl. I mean, they might even lose this weekend, but
they can.
They can, but if there's a dark horse team, Tennessee would be my dark horse team.
Mm-hmm.
Tennessee has the 12th best offense. New England has the 15th best offense.
New England has the 15th best offense, and that's
I thought it was way worse than that. That's despite playing really bad teams, though.
Oh, God. They didn't even play a lot of 8-8 clubs, did they? They played 6 winning teams this year, and they lost 3 of them.
Yeah. New England is 0-4 when their opponents score more than 20 points.
And the Bills are one team they beat twice. The Bills and the Eagles, that's the winning teams the Patriots beat. And that's technicalities, because, I mean, you can't include 8-8. Cowboys and Steelers, I mean.
The Cowboys should be worse than 8-8.
We're not getting into that. Okay. No. So, of the 3 winning teams they beat the Bills, who, they're pretty good at the division normally. And the Eagles, the weakest team in the playoffs, arguably, because they were in the NFC least.
They always beat the Bills, though, granted view.
Exactly. That's the thing. They know how to play their division, except the Dolphins once a year.
Yep.
So then you got Tennessee. Tennessee started off really weak. They were a 2-4 team under Mariota. We actually predicted Mariota would get benched for Ryan Tannehill. And Tannehill, since that point, is actually leading the league in passer rating. He is, I believe, above 70% completion rating. He is a man on fire as far as passing yards go. And he's pretty good with his legs, too, which you can never downplay. And that's not even to give credit to the best part about the Titans, Derrick goddamn Henry.
Fucking phenomenal right now. He is on fire. He's unstoppable right now.
Oh, God.
They're averaging like 160 fucking rush yards a game or some stupid crap like that with him right now. The last like 6 weeks, they've been really good.
The real testament to Derrick Henry was last week. He had that 54-yard touchdown run and I think a 2-yard touchdown run. That 2-yard touchdown run impressed me way more than that 54-yard touchdown run. That 54-yarder, he didn't get touched. That 2-yarder, he stumbled, stiff-armed, and plowed into people to drive into the end zone. It was a thing of beauty. And believe it or not, the Pats have, I believe, the 6th best rushing defense. But like I said, that is a testament to the quality of opponents they play. I honestly think the Pats, although it looks good on paper as far as rushing defense goes, I think they're actually weak against the run.
They are, because when they played the Ravens still ran for like 230 yards on them.
Yes, and that was new to them.
That was a good run game.
And the Texans complemented that, did that as well. Chiefs did roughly the same. But the biggest thing I noticed was Miami upset Pats. I can't talk about it enough, but we didn't upset them by running the ball. We passed on them. We beat them at the thing they're supposed to be good against.
New England's offense is just so incompetent. They keep going 3 and out, and New England's defense just gets tired. If Tennessee can go in there and run the ball very effectively, they're going to win this game. Tannehill is a good enough passer, and he's beaten the Patriots before.
Yeah, Tannehill is one of the winningest quarterbacks against New England. And the dynasty, I'll come out right and say it, the dynasty's over, but I think New England goes out with not a bang, but a whimper. And I'll tell you these 2 stats. Tannehill has, ever since he's become the starter, Titans' offense is averaging 30 points per game. And of all the games the Pats played this year, they are 0-4 if their opponent scores more than 20 points.
20 points isn't a lot.
20 points is the line. And that's what you need them to do. The Titans are good at... we said it at the start of the year. They're good on defense. They're underrated. New England can win this game. But I, honest to God, say it's smart money to bet on the Titans. And I would say it's going to be a score 30-20.
You think they're going to put up 30 points?
I think they'll put up 30 points. I think this is a game where the Everyone gives Patriots a lot of credit, and everyone's like, they're not going to lose the Titans. And I think it's going to be one of those games where the Titans run away with it a bit, and the Pats try and catch up, but halfway through the fourth quarter, the Pats are going to be lethargic because they know the game is over.
Yeah, I think it's going to be.
I think it's going to be that type
21-17 Titans.
Just barely over that 20-point line.
21.
Okay.
All right, let's
Tennessee and
go
Ryan Tannehill. I love it.
All right, let's move on. Another really stupid good game. Buffalo at Houston. Buffalo is coming in at the third best defense, while Houston is coming in at the 28th best defense. And then it flips entirely.
Yeah.
Buffalo has the 24th best offense, where Houston has the 13th best offense. So it's good offense, good defense, bad offense.
I love that. That's a tale of two stories right there. God, that is a very hard one because, I mean, if New England had an easy schedule, that implies Buffalo did as well. But what's really interesting is Buffalo had a really hot start. I kind of feel like they fell off a little bit at the end of the year. But they were still baseline pretty good. But Houston did that exact same thing. If I'm not mistaken, Houston lost 3 of their last 4.
They're getting J.J. Watt back, though.
Oh,
J.J. Watt's coming back.
Good. That's important. But like I said, like both teams started off really hot. Now, not so much. You got to remember, the Broncos might not be a good team. Texans lost to them 3 weeks ago.
Houston's another team where, like Tennessee, where I thought their defense was better, and then you look at the stats, you're like, really? 28? That's weird. That's weird for a Houston team, I feel like, because they're normally not that bad. But their offense, 13th, but I feel like it's better than 13 with Deshaun Watson, DeAndre Hopkins. DeAndre Hopkins is freaking incredible, man.
Oh, dude, he's one of the best. He's like the AFC's Larry Fitzgerald.
Oh, yeah.
Respect the hell out of that, man.
Totally. Just chug it, man. Just chug the beer. I mean, water.
Yes, that's exactly what that was.
Brown bottles.
They didn't see that. Whatever. Okay, so we're getting off topic. Houston has had a harder division to play against, okay? Colts were feisty. Titans are good.
Colts were feisty like the first 8 weeks.
Bills.
And then died.
The Bills rattled off on the Dolphins and the Jets. Granted, both these teams lost games to teams they didn't need to try and beat in Week 17. And their seeds were locked, respectively, as soon as the Chiefs beat the Chargers. So neither really had much to play for. So both have been game planning for this for, I want to say, 2 weeks.
Do you think Buffalo knew they were going to play Houston, though? And
yes.
Houston knew they were going to play Buffalo?
I would say, well, okay, that's actually a good... No. Because
you think they were that locked in? Like,
the only shakeup in the playoff picture was literally the Pats and Chiefs swapping the picks. So these two teams, we knew they were going to play each other.
All I had to do was beat the Dolphins.
We can talk about that all day.
It's funny, man.
In the case of experience, Bill O'Brien is, I want to say, since he's became the coach, more often than not, his team makes the playoffs. And who's the Bills coach? Sean McDermott, correct?
It's McDermott, yeah.
Okay, he made it one time, and he should not have done that.
Scored 3 points.
Yeah, 3 points for their first playoff game in the decade. Props to the Bills. This is the first playoff spot they earned.
They definitely earned it. This is a good year for them.
The question is, who do you go with here? The defense or the offense?
It's really hard because Buffalo's a really good coach team. They really are.
But Houston undoubtedly has the experience with the coaching.
Houston, experienced quarterback, experienced offense, experienced coach at home.
Mm-hmm.
Even though Houston isn't very statistically that good, I'm still going with Houston. And this one took me a hard time to figure that one out because Buffalo's just a really young team.
Yeah.
They really are a really young team, but damn, their defense is they're really good. They might be better than the Niners' defense.
Do you think they could duplicate this next year? Like, this is like a learning curve.
I mean, the Bears did it, but their offense is garbage. If they invest into their offense this year, Buffalo could be really freaking good next year.
Mm-hmm. I find myself agreeing with you. this is a really hard one. But the thing I keep thinking of is, how bad is the Bills' offense? It's not terrible, but they won the majority of their games, like the Pats, by scoring less than 20 points. That's a huge thing for me. So if they want to beat the Texans at home, or, I mean, in Houston, they need to get at least a turnover or two, like a pick six. Or
they can do this.
They can, but it's never smart to bank on.
No.
And the Bills, I'm kind of used to them just scoring like 17 points, and I feel like the Texans can...
Do you think they could keep them to 17 points?
The Bills keep the Texans to 17 points?
Yes.
No. And so I think the Texans win this one. Closer than it should be. Honestly, I think the Texans are the better team. I think Buffalo's will have to look forward to. Honestly, I hope the Buffalo Bills win, because that'd help our pick. But I think this is a 23-17 score. Give it to the Texans. Okay. Where the Bills do just as much as they need to, but Texans pull it at the end. And I think the Texans are the winner.
Do you think it's going to be like a last minute win, or just in the fourth quarter win?
Yeah, close all game though.
It should be a one-score game, all game. I'd say one-score game, definitely.
Don't get me wrong. This is just like the Tennessee-New England one. This one can go either way, but I believe Houston has this one. I think that's a smart play.
Next game ain't going to go either way.
Seattle, Philly.
Seattle.
Yeah.
They have the 26th best defense.
Really?
Philadelphia has the 10th best defense. That's surprising. I thought Philadelphia had a worse defense than that. And then Seattle has the 8th best offense, while Philadelphia has the 14th best offense. This is weird because Philadelphia is statistically not bad. 10th best defense, 14th best offense, but
9-7. But 9-7, squeaking into the playoffs only by virtue of Cowboy incompetence.
Yeah. Well, that, and they probably should have beaten the Dolphins, but they just decided to sleep that day.
Whatever.
Well, whatever.
This one is actually, I think this is an obvious one. You know, like you know who it should be.
You know Seattle's going to win this.
But I'll give you some counterpoints. I'll balance the line here. I'll be fair. The Seahawks defense, like you said, 26. That's actually not very good. They're pretty good at takeaways, but when they need to stop someone, they typically don't. But Seahawks have lost 3 of their last 4 games. I thought it was the Saints and the Seahawks as the premier teams in the NFC right now. Like, they were my 2 favorite choices. Seahawks, it was last week's game against the Niners that finally made me be like, okay, do you panic a bit? Because, granted, it came down to inches. You can say that as much as you want. It's true. San Francisco owned that game against Seattle, top to bottom. San Francisco didn't earn the division. They took it. And Seattle fell flat. 3 out of 4. The thing is, if you go back to like 6 games, one of the few teams Seattle managed to beat was Philly.
Yeah.
But Philly rattled off the last 4 games they needed to claim
against the easy opponents.
Claim the division, though. And they fought. Seattle didn't fight every game they played. They fell against the Rams. They fell against the Cardinals. They fought against the Niners. But
didn't they almost lose to the Giants and the Redskins or something?
Yeah, Philly did, but they fought all game.
Okay, who do you think's a better 5 seed? The Seahawks or the Bills?
The Bills. I actually do. I think the last few weeks of the Seahawks are maddening. I
think Seattle's a lot like Green Bay, where their team isn't that good, but their record's that good because their quarterback's that good. If Green Bay doesn't have Aaron Rodgers, damn, that's bad. Same with Seattle. Russell Wilson makes that team just go to a different level.
I thought Seattle had a lot more weapons, but the last few weeks made me feel like there's got to be injuries or some crap going on.
Their defense isn't all that, but Russell Wilson's just so damn good, and he just knows what he's doing.
That's the thing. Seattle is very good at takeaways. They are, I don't want to say top 10 in the league in takeaways. And I think that's going to be the deciding factor in this game. I think Seattle wins it, but I think it's going to be closer than anyone wants it to be, and it's going to be like a oh shit type of game for Seahawks fans, because I think I actually think I'll say Eagles take a 14-point lead in this one, but ultimately fall to Seattle. But I think it'll be like a 2017 game, and it'll be a game where all Seahawks fans are like, the sky is falling down, where they accept they're just going to lose the following week. I think they have the talent to win this, but that's mostly on the side of Philadelphia just limping into the playoffs.
Well, they would have to play the 1 seed after this, so they would have to play the Niners.
Yep.
I do think they beat Philadelphia. I think that's really a no-brainer because I don't think Philadelphia is like the weakest team in the playoffs. Right?
That's exactly what it is.
And it's not just because their schedules are worse. It's just because they are that bad. Their whole division was that bad.
Yeah.
They could have won that division at 8-8.
They're here because someone needed to be. Someone has to be there.
And they just rattled off the last 4 games or whatever the hell it was because they were easy games. I think they played their entire division. Like the last 3-4 weeks or whatever.
4 weeks they played their entire division. Yeah.
Ooh, the Redskins. Ooh, the Giants. Wow. Yeah, twice. 3-win team. Ooh.
That's the thing with the Eagles. I like them. I do. And their defense is fine, man. But Russell Wilson can mitigate that. Just a few good scrambles while getting pressured, not taking a bad sack, not throwing a bad INT. And that's all Seattle needs to win this game. But like I said, I think Eagles take an early lead, but Seahawks ultimately win it. And this is the game where people should look at this game and think it's obvious. And I think it is. But I think that you shouldn't get carried away with that. I think it's Seahawks win, yes, but it's not the 30-point route you think it's going to be. I think it'll be closer.
Would you make them a 10-point favorite?
No.
Would you make them a 7-point favorite? I'd say Seattle's favored by a touchdown at least.
That's an interesting one. Like I said, 2017, I could see them doing that, but
that and Seattle's been a really good road team this year, I feel like. So
that's actually true. They are a better road team than they are a home team.
Maybe that somehow helps them being on the road. I don't know.
Well, considering Philly doesn't really know what it's doing at home either. But yeah.
They really don't. Philadelphia was disappointing this year because I thought they could have went like 12 wins.
Yeah.
Dark horse team, but incompetence.
So we agree then, Seattle, huh?
Seattle.
Okay.
All right. The very last game is another good one. New Orleans at Minnesota.
I like that one too, but I think that one's the easiest one to pick all week.
I'd say the Seattle one's easier, but New Orleans has the 11th best defense. Minnesota, the 14th best defense.
Okay.
New Orleans has the 9th best offense, and Minnesota has the 16th best offense. So it's a pretty even playing field, it looks like here.
But in both those metrics, the Saints are the better team.
And it's not Monday.
But not much. It's not Monday, so Kirk Cousins might play a little bit better.
Still prime time.
I don't care. Kirk Cousins, I thought maybe he'd improve, but he's like just terrible in primetime games.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. Maybe he's just not all that good anyway. He's just there. He's just viable enough. Like their team has to be like excellent to win a Super Bowl.
Is Dalvin Cook healthy? Or is he still out?
I don't know. Even with Dalvin Cook or no Dalvin Cook, New Orleans wins this. New Orleans has the veteran quarterback. They got the better coach. A better overall team. Their offense, 9th, whatever. But they still got Michael Thomas. No one could stop Michael Thomas, seemingly. Or Alvin Kamara, if the fact.
Yep.
And Taysom Hill is always running around doing some weird crap that no one expects.
He's a lot like a better version of Jameis Winston to the question of what the hell is Taysom Hill.
Say that, man. He's just like a Swiss Army knife. And it's like, here, man, go play D-line. I'm like, okay.
What the hell is he?
And get a sack. Yes. I'm making this up, but... that and throw him in a quarterback, I'll throw a touchdown and throw him in a punt return.
Name a quarterback with more receiving touchdowns than Taysom Hill.
Taysom Hill.
Get it.
That's his better.
Dalvin Cook is healthy, and that is the most important thing for the Vikings heading into this game. They lost the last 2 games against the Packers and the Bears without him, and the Vikings aren't very good against their division. They are a 10-6 team, but they went 2-4 in the division. They only swept the Lions. Is Minnesota strong enough to beat New Orleans? You just rattled off all the praise in the world about New Orleans.
No, I don't think Minnesota's good enough, dude. Even at home, New Orleans
it's not.
they're going to be so mad that they choked that playoff game away 2 years ago. They're like, okay, that was a fluke.
Mm-hmm.
You know they choked in like the last 10 seconds of the game. So New Orleans wins this.
It's not at Minnesota. It's at New Orleans. I wrote that backwards.
New Orleans at Minnesota?
Yeah, I wrote that backwards.
Jesus Christ.
Hey, New Orleans 3 seed, Vikings 6 seed. It happens. I wrote it backwards. My bad.
You wrote it. Where is it at?
Oh, whatever.
Where is it at?
What does it even matter? What does it even matter?
There it is.
What does it even
New Orleans at Minnesota. That's what I was reading.
What does it even matter?
Minnesota at New Orleans.
Even if it was in Minnesota, I'd still pick New Orleans.
Yeah, and I was just saying that. Even if it's in Minnesota, New Orleans is going to win.
Yeah. Exactly. New Orleans is... oh, crap.
Domino's guy. Hold on.
Okay. You keep talking.
What's up, guys? Yeah. New Orleans should definitely win this game. New Orleans did get kind of cheated they did get cheated last year. And it just makes me wonder how different would New Orleans be if they actually would have won the Super Bowl last year if they didn't get cheated. Because they would have beaten the Patriots. I think they were better than the Rams. Would Drew Brees still be here if he did that? I don't know. But if they win this year, if New Orleans got to have like the third best odds to win the Super Bowl this year, so it makes me wonder, would Drew Brees actually retire on top, or would Drew Brees just stay in the league just so Tom Brady won't overtake his stats? Because I think Tom Brady's kind of doing that right now. Wouldn't you agree, Brandon?
What?
Tom Brady is staying in the NFL just so he could break all the
just to catch up to Drew Brees.
And I was just anticipating that if the Saints were to win the Super Bowl this year, would Drew Brees retire?
No. I think Drew Brees is doing America's work and staying ahead of Tom Brady for the record. And I think that's the only Tom Brady's staying is because he wants that record. And on that note, I don't think he catches him. Because New England's playing this weekend just to help Brady's stats.
Do you think...
But so are the Saints.
Do you think the Patriots could not win the Super Bowl, but make the playoffs next year? Because if Buffalo is really an up-and-coming team, they might win the division next year.
It could. So could the Dolphins. It's a weird one. So, all in all, I feel like we're leaning towards New Orleans in this one. Is there any conceivable reason to pick Minnesota? I think New Orleans is one of the hardest places to play. They have a better defense and a better offense. They rarely turn the ball over.
It's not that much better. But
despite
that, they still have a way better quarterback.
And it's not that much better with Drew Brees being injured for 5 weeks.
It doesn't matter. They still went 5-0 with Bridgewater.
It matters for statistics.
Sure, but Bridgewater was still viable. He was still fine. He was still a seasoned backup quarterback. It's not like he was a rookie. That and I said Philadelphia is the weakest team right now in the playoffs, but Minnesota is probably the second weakest team, I feel like, honestly.
I don't feel like Minnesota's weak. It's just unfair of who
they're not clutch, though. That's what they're lacking. They're lacking like a killer instinct or something. Drew Brees is clutch. He's very clutch. If there's any quarterback that could win a game with 2 minutes left down by 14, it's Drew Brees.
Yeah.
Maybe Peyton Manning. Minnesota, Kirk Cousins doesn't have that. He's not clutch.
I think Minnesota will lead this game for roughly like 4 minutes. Yeah. I think at best they score first and then they don't have it for the rest of the game.
Sure. And what do all these playoff teams that are good seeds have in common? They all have good quarterbacks. Except maybe the Niners, but Minnesota doesn't have a good quarterback.
Kurt,
I've really wanted to like him. I've watched a lot of his games, but damn it,
he's not clutch.
He's not clutch.
He can't do it.
It's a primetime game, and he'll probably choke. And it's sad.
So Drew Brees and the Saints, and this one probably the biggest margin of victory. I'll say 31-19, just a weird score, like a good score. I think the Saints. This is the one playoff game where it's an apparent victor. You know, like Saints run away with it, even if the Vikings score first. I think Saints are clearly, bar none, better team. This is their game to. I don't think the Saints even can lose this. I'll give Vikings a 0% chance of victory.
0? I give the Vikings
An actual 0.
A 1% chance.
I'll give them an actual.
I'd
0.
say 1 just because any given Sunday, but you're not beating the Saints.
It's
not
not
this
by
year, man.
it's not even by virtue of disrespect. It's respect to the Saints, and I've never seen the Saints. The Saints would have so many more rings and wins if the refs didn't hate them. But you know that the refs are saving all their hatred for them for when the Saints are in the championship again. So there we go. Saints are winning this game.
That and the Saints have already been screwed over by refs like several times this year, so they're
Yeah.
not that.
But you can't have a Minneapolis miracle in New Orleans. And that should be like the quote of this video.
Sure you can.
No. It
Ravens
won't.
had a mile-high miracle in
It won't.
Denver.
No, we're not going to. No.
Why can't it be a Minneapolis miracle in New
Because
Orleans?
Kirk Cousins sucks. Damn it.
I mean, there was a miracle one time, but that wasn't Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, Case Keenum.
Anyway.
Bring back
Yeah.
Case Keenum.
Yeah, why not? He was better with them.
Right. And on that note, yeah. See you guys later.
There's your picks.
Bye.